I guess let's just get your overall thoughts from a larger perspective. I mean, that was a fantastic game. So many little things went right, and you can't hang your heads at all after a game like that, even though the result didn't go your way.
Yeah, to put up the shots we put up and to generate the opportunities that we generated, there's lots of positives we can take away from that. The next step is just finding a way to get on the right side of pucks to be able to finish some. And when you have a first period like that where you're getting 20 shots on net, and if you get one during that period, the game kind of changes. But we talked about, like, the longer you let them kind of linger around, it gets up in air a little bit. So lots of positives we can take away, but it definitely stings a little bit when you play a game like that and don't come out with the results that you want.
How about for you, Raygan? I mean, sort of a tricky game to play with. Definitely some spells where you weren't seeing a lot, but some really high danger chances as well.
Yeah, those are definitely tough games. I think every goalie would say that they'd much rather have 40 shots than 15. But just trying to stay mentally in it, like, you're just hoping, I think everybody's hoping one's going to come, we're going to get a good bounce, or Ella had a really nice opportunity in the second period, and just frustrating for sure, but like you said, there's a lot of good to take from that, and it felt like a playoff game. That first period especially was super fast. I don't think there was a whistle for 8 minutes there, 6 minutes maybe, so a lot of good to take from it.
And then, Renata, for the decor, I've been, kind of focusing on that because without Allie, it's quite different, and you had a couple of folks step in that were, in a difficult spot, having to take some of those minutes. On the goal, it was, Hannah Baskin kind of turned, you were on the ice, and it was just a broken play. Can you speak to kind of how that happened and what the feeling is for a player like that who's done a lot and then has, like, a moment where the play just breaks down?
The first thing I'll say is that play's happened to all of us, like, so many times, and there's so much that happens before a play like that even happens. Like, yeah, does she want that back? 100%. Do I want the way I supported her better back? 100%. But that's hockey. I think we could have got the puck out even before it got to Hannah. And yeah, you as a team, you support players like that. She's been working so hard as a reserve all year for us, and she's a phenomenal teammate, competes in battles every day in practice. You see it. Yeah, she can hold her head high. It's a hockey play. It happens, and it sure has happened to me plenty of times in big moments. So it's just a part of hockey.
And then I have to ask the LaRock unfast that we saw in the corner. The fans were none too happy. I mean, do you just have any feelings about that? It shows you the fierceness of the battle.
Yeah, all game out there. I think it was competitive, extremely physical. That's what we expect from them. That's the way that we want to play as well. There was battles all over the ice, and that one was just a fun one. Joss and I. Doesn't surprise me at all. It's just the way we both play.
For Renata, I know you were kind of touched on it already when you have 42 shots and one doesn't go in. It's just a little bit tough, but is there anything that maybe you guys think that maybe you could work on to get those into the back of the net, or maybe the shot selection or anything like that, or do you think it's just more of just an unlucky day, good day for Gwyneth Phillips? Yeah,
she played well. I actually thought we were pretty good with our shot selection. Oh my God, I'm stumbling over my words today. And yeah, I think there was a lot of rebounds that were just sitting right in front of the crease, and we got to find a way to get sticks on those and to keep them alive, to not let her get that second opportunity to cover it. But honestly, I think our group did a really good job with what we've been doing in practice over the last 10 days to generate that much offense. And yeah, we just got to find a way to get it in.
This is kind of open for both of you, but just your thoughts on the standing ovation for the little girl who survived leukemia.
Yeah, I thought that was unreal. I'm not sure if, I'm super proud for her. I think everyone got a little emotional, especially once, I don't know if a lot of people realize at first, and then you look up on the screen and you're like, oh, this is, why the puck hasn't dropped, and everybody was cheering, and I think that's unreal. Especially, with what Carla's going through too. I think there's pretty heavy in the league right now, so to have that win for her, that's pretty cute.
Okay, so you're going on the road for 2 games, which might be good. You've tended to play really well on the road, but you can take this in your back pocket as like I'll just say, I think that's the best game here that we've seen all season from you all. I mean, how do you take that going forward? I don't know, it's such a cliche question, but now that you're going on the road, is that something that you're looking forward to?
Right now, it's like one game at a time. You build off of what you liked from the previous game, but these points are so crucial. We're coming down to the wire, so the group will refocus, and we got a big one in New York coming up this week, and then obviously in Minnesota. But yeah, it'll take it one game at a time, and there'll be lots of positives we can look at in video and work on ways to finish those pucks.
Anything else you guys want to touch on that wasn't asked?
I guess just, I think the coaching staff said it, there was a lot going on in the city today, and so I think just like appreciation of fans for turning out for us. I mean, I walked here, I don't think I've ever walked to a game before, a lot of us did, and so yeah, we just appreciate the fan support, and you know, we're going to get one at home here coming up, so.
That's great. Oh no, I just blanked. Literally just blanked. Oh, I know. We had chatted about maybe something you'd like to be asked after the game is some of the other players' performances. I mean, I thought Emma Malte had a fantastic game, Maggie, Blair, Callie, you know, was there anybody that you noticed specific moments or things that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, the players you named had really good games. We had a lot of players that did. I think it was like a complete team game. But one person in the first period, I just really noticed that Zanin was transitioning the puck really, really quick and was trying to drive pucks low. And it's good to see her do that. I think she pushed the pace of play in the first period.
Yeah. I would also say Gentry had some big hits out there, and that gets the girls going, gets the crowd going, and you know, she's been really stepping into her role, I think, so her as well.
On the game today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I liked a lot of what went on tonight. Great to get the amount of shots we have. I would have liked a little bit better quality in some of the shots, but I thought we were playing sort of the right way, playing well enough to win. You know, as some of the players mentioned after, sometimes when you let teams linger around, it tends to cost you if you let them stay in the game, and obviously it did cost us. We talked a little bit about the first goal against, and obviously a bit of a mishandle by Baskin, but I think the important thing in that play, you know, I wanted to bring it up to the players because I wanted them to talk about, if you rewind that a little bit, there's a play we could have broke the puck out on the wall. We didn't. There's a stalled puck on the wall. We had a 2-on-1. We lost the battle, and then the Baskin thing happened. So sometimes I think it's important on a team to share the tough moments instead of just put it on one player. So they had that talk in the dressing room, and I think we're better for it.
Troy, I wanted to talk about the 42 shots. There was some opportunities that were grade A chances that it could have gone in the net. There were other times it was just battling it out. What do you think the team is missing to finish going forward in the next couple games?
Well, I know you can't have 42 grade A chances. That's one thing, and sometimes the attempt at a C chance creates the A chance. So you're putting a puck on net. You're like, one of the things we talk about sometimes is like playing off the goalie. If you don't have a pass to the inside, you can't skate it to the inside. Sometimes you put it off the goalie to get it into the inside, and by doing that at times you're going to just get a C chance out of it. It's not going to work to get inside. Another thing we talk a lot about is I believe skilled plays come off retrievals. So if you get a puck on net, the skilled play often comes from retrieval, and a team like Ottawa at times plays man-on-man situation in the defensive zone. So sometimes the best way to get rid of the man-on-man is to get a puck on net and try to retrieve it and see if you can attack off that.
And then I just wanted your thoughts on that fast battle in the corner of the third. Should that have been a penalty?
I'm not an official, and to be honest, I looked at it on video. I also know fast. I know Larock quite well. I think that's a battle. I think if I'm the official in that game, I'm either not calling it or I'm calling both of them, potentially. I think you probably, if you look close enough, I'm sure fast chicken wing was down on the helmet a little bit, so I think she probably, just made sure that was a good, hard physical play. So I think those things happened. And I'm not sure if the intent was there, but I think they were just both battling pretty hard for the puck.
Does that symbolize, like, that's the ultimate in, we don't care if we're friends off the ice or have played together in the past? There was quite a bit of that among, former teammates, Team Canada teammates. It was like all bets are off. Does that just show the importance of this game and the fierceness of the battle?
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think anything less is unacceptable. LaRock, Fast, those players would not get to the level of player they are if they played different based on who the opponent was. So, they want to compete against each other. To be honest, I think they even raise their game a little bit even more when they know that compete's going to be reciprocated on the other side. So I wouldn't expect anything less from Fast, and I wouldn't expect anything less from LaRock.
And then I wanted to go back to something you said about, the group is feeling good, everyone's kind of really into it and determined, and you said, that will bring you success, or at least you'll get what you deserve when you play that way. Can you kind of circle back to that comment for a game like this?
Yeah, I think sometimes, there's 8 teams trying to win a Walter Cup. That's not going to happen, right? So a lot of times when you're coaching your team, you want to just set your group up for the success that they deserve. And if this year the success we deserve is win the Walter Cup, then anything less will be a disappointment. And, if the success that we deem we deserve is to get to the playoffs, and we get to the playoffs, then that's going to be deemed a bit of a successful year. I've just never been a big believer in the only team that's successful in a season is the team that wins the championship. And I think it's important to, it doesn't mean you accept the losing and all that. You're constantly trying to get better, but I think you got to have good perspective when you're dealing and coaching athletes. And the thing is, the difficult part is we're not necessarily sure exactly where we're at in that scale. Are we at a point right now that a Walter Cup or nothing? I don't think that's where we're at as a team or an organization, but we're striving to get there, and hopefully we close the gap a little bit here in these next 4 games.
And if I could, just one more. I was asking the players about some individual performances. There were quite a few, noticeably driven performances by some players that you don't always see that full 60 minutes, just very noticeable. I won't say some names, but like the fourth line. Is there anybody that you found especially, had that kind of game that you really look for?
Yeah, the one thing I think when our team is successful, there's another line. Obviously, Malte's line is relatively consistent. When Turnbull's, she's consistent. It's usually like finding one other line that you can rely on, with some heavy minutes. And then, right now, Jim Midgley's coaching the forward group, and, he'll often say, if I can early in a game get everybody going, we usually end up in a pretty good spot. Tonight on the back end with the D, I felt like even the way the game started, we had, I think, 11 minutes without a whistle. So you're kind of playing 3D that don't normally play a lot, because so you end up being stretched a little bit more in those situations. So you're coming out of TV timeouts trying to reset your kind of rotation a little bit. And I think for us to be successful, we always need another group to step up, just not your first line or your second line. We need either a third line to provide something or a fourth line to provide something, and it's the same on the back end. We know generally what you're going to get with your top 4D, and it's usually, does a fifth or a sixth or a seventh step up and give us a chance to win hockey games.
I guess you already touched on all the chances you guys created, and obviously 42 shots, and we also touched on it. It was a pretty good game. I guess as a coach, what's the message to the group when you play a game that was that good, but you just didn't get the result? What do you say to the team once you get back into the room?
Yeah, I think it's important to celebrate some of the small things that you liked about the game. I also think there's a few times, a Phillips is gonna make saves if she sees the puck, so a lot we've been working on trying to get better screens, working on getting stick on pucks, working on a flash screen, like all those little things that can upgrade some of those chances. So you just talk a little bit about that. I think the mentality side of it is when you do allow a team to stay in games. So we didn't find a way to put them away early when we kind of had them. I think in those games, if you get one or two early, the game's probably over because you're carrying the general flow of the game. But understanding on both sides of it, so if you are a team that allows people to stay in the game, it's going to cost you. But also understanding when it's reversed and a team's taking it to you, but they're not putting you away, you're always in it. You're one shot away, right? Like, I look at that goal against, it's a little bit of a breakdown, and it's not to focus on the breakdown because that breakdown happens all the time. But it's that breakdown that cost us because we allowed them to stay in the game, right? We allowed that one moment to be something that hurts us. And it's not that moment is the big thing, it's that it's just putting it all in perspective. If you allow teams to hang around, it's gonna be a moment that's gonna cost you. If you put them away early, you probably ride through that game and you probably have an easy one at the end of it.
I think one of the things you touched on earlier, and Renata touched on it as well, is the rebound opportunities that you guys created but couldn't cash in on. Is there anything that, I don't know if that's something that you looked at in film later, but is there anything that you think the team could do better in and around front of the net? There was so many pucks that were just kind of sitting around. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about it, different teams play different structure, and a little bit at times Ottawa will play a little bit of like a man-on-man situation. So if you beat your player, like say you have a cutback and you beat your player, normally with kind of zone coverage or layered kind of coverage, there's a pass that's open after that cutback, after you use your skill. In a man-on-man situation, if you beat your player, it doesn't mean there's an open player because there's possibly 4 one-on-ones happening. So after your cutback, a lot of times you got to take that puck to the net to see who you attract before you make a decision. So a lot of that's again, that puck retrieval, that's where a skilled play comes in. We can beat them to the puck retrieval and attack off it. Usually the attack's going to work or someone's going to come to you for coverage, and then you make a decision based on the open player. Sorry, that's a lot of random stuff.